welcome to the Daily English Show. Today's guest is Paul. He was born in England, but he moved to Australia when he was very young, and he grew up in Adelaide. He worked in IT in Sydney for about 10 years before coming to Japan. He first came here 6 years ago for a snowboarding holiday, and he spent a few winters here, and then he decided to live here. He now lives in Kuchan and he makes websites. He also DJs, snowboards and plays darts. I asked Paul how he learnt Japanese.
Came here for the first time 6 years ago with a friend, and we were here for 3 weeks, and I went back. I knew I wanted to come back, and so I decided to take it upon myself to study. I did some night courses in Sydney. It was very polite Japanese. I'm sure it helped me with my sentence structure. But coming back the next year, I couldn't understand what the guys I was staying with were saying. So I decided to buy some books and just studied from books. I was pretty diligent studying every night. Whenever I'd hear something, I'd write it down and revise it later. But just generally from books and from friends.
Kia ora, in Stick News today, the girl in Hillary Clinton's 3 a.m. ad has turned out to be a Barack Obama supporter. Hillary Clinton wants to be the next president of the United States of America. Recently, she made an ad telling people she knows the world's leaders and the military and was ready to lead in a dangerous world. The ad used footage of an 8-year-old girl sleeping. CNN reported the file footage was originally shot for a railroad company advertisement, and the Clinton campaign bought it from Getty Images. The girl in the ad is now almost 18, and she has been campaigning for Barack Obama. She says she doesn't like the ad's fear-mongering and prefers Obama's message of looking forward to a bright future. And that was Stick News for Monday, the 10th of March. Kia ora. How long have you been DJing? What kind of music do you play? Do you use vinyl? Where have you played in Niseko? Has the nightlife in Hirafu changed much over the years? What's been your best gig this season? What's your favourite bar in Hirafu at the moment? How did you get into IT? Do you miss it? Is there enough work around here in IT? Could you get work from anywhere in the world? Do you have any advice for people who are learning English?
I've been DJing for a long time. I think I started when I was about 18. That's a lot of years. I play all genres, depends on the crowd. My personal preference is deep house or new school breaks, which is a style out of England. But I'll play anything, basically. Keep the people happy. I used to always play with vinyl. When I started travelling to Japan, the records were too heavy to carry and cost too much. So I bought a new toy called Final Scratch, which basically lets me play music off of my laptop, but with vinyl. It's kind of confusing to people who don't understand how it works, but it's great for travelling. It takes a bit of time to set it up and pack it down, but it makes travelling and DJing easy. I've played a fair bit at Yummy's a few years ago, which was I was helping out, working there for 3 winters I was here, and Red Bar, and I guess most of the little clubs in Hirafu. Some private parties, Loaf Lounge, there's a bunch of places. Definitely. I used to go to a bar 5 years ago, and there'd be 3 people in there, and 2 of them were the bar staff, and now there's definitely a large influx in foreigners coming in. I'd say that's great for the establishments. Sometimes it causes some trouble, but alcohol and people sometimes don't mix, but it's definitely changed. We had a good party at Yummy's on New Year's Eve. It was just a local crew. That was good fun. My favourite bar would be a bar with a dartboard in it, so it's probably Wild Bill's or Splash. I was in a band years ago in Australia and decided that we needed a website, so I took it upon myself to learn HTML and just basically sat in my bedroom with some books and my computer and taught myself some HTML. And then a friend of mine was working for Microsoft in Australia, taking photos for a city entertainment guide, and he told me to come along for a job interview one day, and then I worked for Microsoft for a couple of months just taking photos and sourcing images and building up a media library, and then got moved into development department. And I think they realised I knew a lot more HTML than some of the designers they had there, and so they took me on full-time in the development. And then Microsoft and Channel 9 a few years later became 9NSN, and I worked there for 6 or 7 years as a developer and a designer, and just basically got a lot of on-the-job training, a lot of training courses they sent me on, and just basically picked it up on the job. I'm still doing it, but I mean, I came here for a skiing holiday and went back to my desk and decided that there was more to do in life, and thought I'd give it a go for a few seasons and got hooked. And then a friend of mine who I first came over with had started up a business here and asked me to come and work with them. So I had the opportunity to do it and I moved over here. We get by. Some months are busier than others. We're still building our business, but definitely I can see things improving. There's a lot more foreign investment in the town. Most of our clients are foreign companies building apartments or with tour companies. They require someone who can speak fluent English to do the job for them, and rather than going to companies in Tokyo or wherever, they would like to work locally. I think it's easier to have meetings and get your point across. So, but I think summertime's generally busier for us. Everyone's getting ready for the next season. Yeah, we could. At the moment we're focusing on this area just because there's still enough people here to give us work. It's easier for meetings, but in the internet industry I think you can pretty much work from home and work, for clients in any country. Anything's possible with the internet these days. You have to speak. It's no good reading a book and not using the language. You might remember it, but you'll be too shy to use it. I think at any opportunity you should use the words that you've learned that day or the day before. The more you use them, the more you remember them. They'll become part of your vocabulary.
True or false? Paul started DJing recently. False. Paul said the bars in Hirafu are quieter than they used to be. False. Paul's favourite bar is a bar with a dartboard in it. True. Paul's first job in IT was working for Channel 9. False. Paul said they're generally busier in summer than in winter. True. And that was the Daily Englisher. See you tomorrow. Bye.